Hi, welcome to Chick Chats. After over 14 years working as a camera person to becoming a technical director, and host of many shows for public access television, which was the voice of the people. It was the last televised ability for we the people to have equality on the television waves. The 2006 bill, changing it into a communications vocabulary, is what made it so that DishNet and other different new media did not have to pay a franchise fee to pay for we the people to have a voice. Seeing the news, I gotta say, Fox News, good for you. Seems like you got two sides there talking versus just one propaganda. It makes me sick to see the hysteria, and since O.J. Simpson, how misused media has become an epidemic of our own perpetual addiction to drama. Having done televised information, having done interviews, I understand that everyone needs to make money and everyone wants to be an Oprah and have a franchise show which offers amounts of money beyond your wildest dreams. This would be nice. I'll take it too. At the same time, I have been on many bases, and I can tell you as a Blue Star mom that I can see the weaknesses that are being allowed and perpetuated by the authorities higher than, and the propaganda of any bomb taking public time away from honoring and getting things done in Washington, D.C.'s tragedy is disgraceful and disgusting. Makes me sick to my stomach to see the misuse of power in my nation, in my country. We have a vote, but if we the people are not represented equally in our city councils, in our county officials, in our state officials, in our assembly and congressional officials, if they are all attorneys, then how can we not know that they have not been all trained to professionally lie? That is winning in some cases. O.J. got off. Some believe he did it. Doesn't mean his life wasn't ruined by the media and propaganda. 9/11. Some refused to think that our country knew of what happened there, just as they refused to believe that Pearl Harbor had been predicted and actually informed to the government before that happened. But they figured the losses were not going to be as such that they were, and they needed to get into the war. So I'm not saying that I am against service, not at all. I've been an advocate for veterans for 13 years now, starting with my second husband. Finding out how the administration doesn't talk to the hospitals don't talk to the counseling centers. There is no internal resourcing. And within a city of like Reno, Nevada, which I lived and raised my son, the left side doesn't know what the right side's doing, and it's profit, 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 and they don't care, again, what happens to the people. We, the people, are being asked by even Fox News to stand up and say, vote down, call in, and tell that the no care of a bomb, it's not a caring system. Becoming socialistic in a constitutional country is not a proper choice of caring. It is a way of getting your own way, using federal funds in order to train people in order for them to go out and propagate your side, which the president is doing, using our taxpayer money. I didn't say it was okay for him to do that. I would rather see the money go to the families of the victims of. And if I had been president when our embassy was struck and people were killed, I would have dropped a bomb. And God forgive me. But you cannot cure evil. You cannot cure evil any more than you can cure stupidity or the dogmatic stubbornness that refuses to see how daycare raised, professional trained propaganda is being perpetuated and blasted at us constantly. You cannot go anywhere except maybe in the country to find quiet. Televisions, radios, in airports, train stations, bus stations. And in a case of emergency, how wonderful we get to find out what's going on. It used to be days, if not weeks, in the farming days, before you could possibly find out what was happening on the front line of a war. In our case, we have too much information, too many choices, too much stimulus. And we want to know why we have ADD children when we have pregnant women running around putting adrenaline into their stomachs because they have to pay the rent or keep that car or get that outfit. And it's not women's fault. Women have borne the patriarchal handcuffs for how many centuries? Plato spoke of many of the relationship issues of which we work with even today. So there's nothing new. It's just repeating history. Whether you believe in the military or not, it is necessary. It's necessary for you as a civilian, for me as a civilian. I was very humbled. My mother worked at the Veterans Hospital, and it was just kind of a cool thing. I felt she was awesome. She loved them and cried when they died and was a very loving, loving nurse. And her second husband, a World War II bomber pilot, William Otts. I loved him, but I still had no concept of what price freedom cost. Now, as a family member who's been left behind, I can tell you that the cost of trickle down to firemen's families, to EMTs families, to search and rescue families who scrape up your children off the highway. You don't think they go home and their relationships aren't bothered? Call it PTSD, call it brain trauma, call it shell shock. Trauma is trauma. And the lack of compassion of our so-called Christian nation towards mothers who know they cannot take care of the child, and the father just was a sperm donor of a good sex night. And maybe that woman needs to have an abortion. I'm for pro-choice. And so if those people that want to be against pro-choice have adopted 2 to 5 children that are drug addicted, that are known to have a hazardous past in their hereditary DNA, then I could understand them protesting if they had taken responsibility and adopted a few unwanted children. The problem is not about the choice at the end. That could be a responsible choice. People who want a baby so bad that they have doctors put seeds inside of them have to kill the other babies. Yet they are allowed to go to church and call themselves godly and not think of themselves as ungodly. They can think of themselves as Christians. I now believe in Jesus. I love God by all names. But Christianity, I agree with a gentleman, a pastor named Herb Montgomery, where he says that the matriarch and patriarchal societies in history, if you'll look, that right now Christianity has become the most violent religion. I would have to say Muslims are next, but circumstances of other countries are not our right to police. We need to bring our people home, protect our borders without a wall, with our own people, and put our people to work and quit outsourcing. Any company that imports needs to pay double tax. Any person who is working in our country needs to pay double tax until they become a citizen. Unless possibly we could have a trade-off of volunteerism. Volunteerism is an idea that has seemed to go away in our busyness of selfishness, in professional PhDs, or just the tiredness of being sick, ill. It's hard to keep up as a single parent, even with two parents at home. All to keep up with the Jones of soccer, dance, activities that are fabulous for the development of your child, because there's no more PE. There are hardly as any art. And these are the things that made us a healthy society. The fat, overweight, obesity in our nation is due to too many boxed preservative foods, carbonated drinks, and parents or grandparents or aunts or uncles or cousins, or maybe just single men and women that don't realize it's just as much their responsibility to assist a parent to raise a child, to be a thinking and qualified individual, to step forward and be a constitutional individual that means has the ability to question authority with proper cognitive ability. Right now, that between the dogs, the cameras, the security, there is no reason why every one of those people should not have been caught in D.C., in my eyes, in my opinion. I have gone onto bases and known that they are no longer requiring our cars to be tagged. That means anybody with just any car can drive in and have my son, my husband, my child, my daughter, my wife, my husband, your wife, your daughter, your child murdered. And they're serving our country. What are the rest of the civilians doing? Going, oh, peace, peace. Well, I was one of those tree huggers. I come from a logging family, and I tree hug. And then I was a Christian, and then I left the church. And then I visited this religion and that religion. And the best religion is don't do anything that you can't look someone in the eye and still love them. Now, love is a strange thing. It's kind of crazy at times. It's wonderfully crazy at times. And so I just wanted to have a little rant, and got to say that our bases are very, very vulnerable. I don't care how much their propaganda is telling you. It's a lie. All their fancy gadgets can't get one person from escaping. Give me a break. How come every individual on any of our embassies and bases abroad carry a weapon? Who allowed that to happen? That they cannot carry a weapon on our own bases, in our own governmental official buildings? Come on. Aren't they the good guys? Aren't they who are out there working for us? So don't they deserve to go home to their families and have the right to shoot back if someone's shooting at them? Gun laws only allow more of this to go on. I'm hoping that Dianne Feinstein actually, coughs up that she carries a concealed weapon, but I hope she helps me out with some of my situations since I'm now in California. At the same time, whether it be her that's an easy target, since she has spoken out ferociously to control automatic weapons. Automatic weapons are not the problem. untrained individuals are the problem. And if we did nothing but, before age 5, taught a child how to safely hold a gun away from themselves, treat it like it was loaded, recognize if someone else in the room has something that looks suspicious, and to go to an adult and then get themselves out of that room if there's no adult to go to ask for help. Before age 5, children have natural instincts, just like animals, to seek safety and to self-protect. But we are training our children to be fearful of when the lights go out. In a storm last year, a Walmart, all the lights went down. We were all there right before getting our stuff. I was the next person in line. My cart was piled high, and the whole system shut down. The only thing that had emergency lights that came on were to hold their records. Nothing in the parking lot for like 30 minutes. And as we were escorted out of the store, a teenage son to his mom said, "Mom, this is kind of scary." Scary? I'm living in like the Hicks end of California. It's gorgeous. You can jump in a river and it's not polluted. It's beautiful. Protect it, please. I'm glad it's a lost wonder. At the same time, too much TV. Get off the gaming issue. Gaming allows us to possibly keep up with the quick-minded alternative thinking of other people who have had nothing to do but sit there and go kill, 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 and have no supervision due to the morality of the country they live in, or their parents, or their society, or possibly just their own situation of their personality. People are born with personalities that care or don't care. There are some that are dominant and some that are not from birth. And in the womb, what emotions we ingest goes into our child. So it's much better that a family come together and separate their differences in order to allow a child to be born with aunts and uncles or cousins. And these people now may be individuals that are not related to you. Right now, we need to come together and unite our differences more than ever. It doesn't matter if you're black, you're white, you're yellow, you're brown, you're purple or green. You can dress up, you can dress down. But either way, you've got to realize that our military needs supported. And right now, we should be dropping a bomb on whoever did this in D.C. Whoever hides this kind of thing, possibly it was someone wanting to point out the weaknesses that are within our system. Possibly it was a terrorist act. Possibly it was a zillion possibilities. But the truth is it happened, and it's real. And other countries can go, okay, wake up, America. You've been in this child gluttony for how many decades? And we are. We are a gluttonous, childish, spoilt nation. I am. I'm humiliated at how weak I have become by my own stress. Hey, I see that they're here. Thank you very much. Good girl, you did a good job. That's called doing the job. Dogs have a job. So do people. Whether you're a civilian, you're a civil service worker, if you are working off of a prison system, guess what? That's white slavery. If you're in the judicial system, which helps that prison system, if you're in the healthcare system that denies medical help or medical assistance to someone because you're not within 5 days of whatever new law from the federal government, so they can keep tabs on what your every person is. Every person. You can't be without 5 days. Hey! 5 days or whatever to get help. Pardon me. trauma can be going to the doctor. Doctors are supposed to help you when you are dying. They are not supposed to be a 30-day addiction, a 30-day habit. They are not supposed to be making money off of sick people. They're supposed to get people well. It used to be that you could not get paid unless the patient got well. Well, as a society, I hope we get well. And I am glad that the Reading Access has survived. It has gone to the Arts Council, and I pray for it to receive volunteers. And wherever your DATV, Dayton, Ohio, television is awesome. St. Louis has an awesome access television station. Carson City, I believe, is still working in Nevada. Napa shrank and kept their station, Napa, California. And Sacramento is thriving. Mountain View in California is thriving. But they had foresight and diversity. And what happened often was the nonprofits, if you've ever tried to help one, are extremely difficult because of the bogged down diplomacy of protocol or power by people who do not know anything about producing television, yet they're in charge of the board, of the say, of the hiring, of the raises. I saw directors not give a person a $2 raise and lose someone that was worth $80 an hour but was only being paid $15 and made our station, Sierra Nevada Community Access Television, SENCAT, Reno, Nevada. Pat rocked. He made our station rock. He came out of high school rocking. He made Galena High School a video that was just astounding for a young individual. He made my first introduction to my extraordinary friends, where my little flame came out of the hand. It was when Adobe Premiere was brand new. And he was playing with it and said, "Oh, what do you need?" I said, "I need an opening and a closing." "Okay, let's go do it." We did it. We got it done in one day. One day. So saying that we need more time only allows people to not learn their lesson. Over 10 years ago, I heard a statistic when I was doing developmental psychology. If you'd like to look up that, it's www.coreevolution.com. And that's what I have to say.